Right then, welcome back to Pommy and Alls. Hope we're all doing well. 2 uploads in a day. I am spoiling you, but if you are new around here, please like and subscribe. Welcome to the channel. It's great to have you here. As always, it is a pleasure doing content for you. So make sure you drop that like button, subscribe, and if you want to become a member of the channel, link is in the description. So if that is something that floats your boat, please do that. We sponsor Domaku, we sponsor all sorts. We've got the wonderful Shan Gore on board as well. So if you'd like to do that, please, please, please. That is no obligation though. Welcome back if you are new. So what we're doing today is we're going to do just a special video, just kind of a compliment piece to the scout report that I do of the threats. We're just going to do a special one because there is something I think is quite interesting about these guys and girls that we are playing this weekend, the legends that are Richmond tomorrow. So let's have a look. So here we are. Here's the first guy, Jack Riewoldt. So I want you to look at some certain things because there's certain things that without using the eye, you can actually cheat and learn about players. So it's one of these weird things with stats. So a big one here is the shots at goal. The goals obviously are quite threatening. The marks inside 50 and the marks on the lead. So what that is basically what it says on the tin. It's marks from leading pattern runs. So very interesting to note. So Riewoldt and Lynch work really well together. They've got a very set game plan that we'll talk about here of ways to Austin-gate it. But just notice this, and his messer here, Tom Lynch. Now, it's very interesting here. Tom Lynch, a lot of people, when they think about Tom Lynch, they're like, oh, he's really good one-on-one. Oh, he's, leading. He's a real good leading thing. But 0.9 is bang average for a key forward for games played. So you'd expect to see that higher for the raps that he gets, per se. 3.3, 3.1 goals, 3.1 marks, same as Riewoldt. And shots at goal, 5.3. So genuinely, this guy's a beneficiary of their top 5 for goal assists. And a lot of them come from just inside 60. Very good they are at spotting when teams stop playing. So real interesting thing about Mr. Lynch. But let's just have a look at, obviously, what they do firstly. And maybe something Carlton could try that they've tried prior to try and offset this, if you will. So let's have a quick look. Right, so what I'm going to do here is, this is very rudimentary. Obviously, this is not the matchups and this is not how they'd look. I've just pinpointed 4 players, really, of each side that will have to do a job. So basically what we need to understand is when the ball is, say, about to enter 50 from here, what happens? So let's just move Carlton players out of the way. Well, what you'll find is Lynch usually comes very deep. He genuinely tries to get into this position here, right? Now, there's a reason. What that does is genuinely then you can work out that the hot zone is here. And it genuinely attracts players to it, which then creates little outlets. So you find quite often Soldo runs this diagonal route and tries to get into here, right? And with them all pushing back, it opens up this space. So genuinely what you will see as the ball is coming in is Lynch is going to make this motion here. He's going to run here. So he genuinely runs to here and it'll cross these guys here, Durden, and they'll look for that easy hit up, right? But genuinely 9 times out of 10, that is a decoy, hence the 0.9 leads. And it allows Riewoldt, who genuinely comes laterally, he comes across here, and they really focus on dissecting a zone. And Bolton is very good at just coming, he darts, he's going to hit here. So that being said, that is genuinely, you will see 7 out of 10, I would say, they're inside 50s. So what Carlton are going to have to do, let's just set them up where they would be. So Soldo would probably be coming from this position, Plowman would be on whoever here, Doc would be on whoever here, and Durden and Young are probably going to be wrestling here, right? Now, what Carlton could do, and they had great effect with Ben Brown in the preseason game, we saw this, right? And I think this is where Carlton's strength is, right? Carlton have got to look at what they've got here, right? Look at what they've got, right? They've got Durden here, who's pretty good one-on-one. They've got Young here, who was exceptional at spoiling. They've got Plowman here, who genuinely looks for lanes. So what Carlton can do here is, obviously, you are going to have your midfield ploughing back into this area. Carlton defend like that. The wings, they nip back in here. So these guys here would genuinely be covered anyway by a runner, right? TDK is probably following this guy as we speak. So what Carlton want to look to do is have their own diversion tactic. So Young here wants to try and block this run here. If he can slow it down and keep him to here as Rewalt crosses here, it's perfect for Carlton, right? But what Carlton found we did against, and you saw it last week as well against Essendon, is Plowman slots into here, right? Which then buys Young time to get ahead of the ball. Now, if Durden is running here, this is where Doc or Sard have the opportunity at the ground ball get. Now, genuinely Young is our best spoiler, and he gets it down to ground. Now, this then allows Carlton to really attack, because you will find that exaggerated, they really press inside 50. So if Carlton can get that spoil to here and Young, they're out and on the counter-attack. So that is one thing I want you to look for this week. Dummy runs from Lynch, Rewalt running laterally, and then Bolton, Solder, Baker, their little intersect runs, and it's very central, but they'll always drift players out wide, particularly Bolton here will genuinely like to come out wide here, and Solder likes to pop up here. So it's a risk-reward strategy, but genuinely you are going to get the ball there. So if the midfield are running hard enough, and they're into these positions which Carlton genuinely get, takes the wide option out, try and focus that into here, and that is where Carlton's strength is with Solder and whatnot. So then let's look at the other area. So an area that has been really good for teams to exploit us is this one here, and that's the ruck. And these two here, basically the top hit-out combination in the comp. They limit the opposition to the least. And Toby Nankervis, there is again a stat that tells us what they do. So let's have a look at it. So, disposal 16.5. Toby Nankervis surprisingly does find a lot of the pill. It's one of them surprising factors of it. Ground ball gets 4.6. Another underrated part of Soldo's game is his ability, really, to win his own pill when the ball hits the deck. Now, this is very important. 49.4% of hitouts won, 28.3% hit out to advantage. There's a reason, because of the way this guy taps the ball and how he sets up attack. And we'll have a look at that in a bit more detail. But then we got Soldo, 7.4 disposal. So this guy he's not your ball accumulating ruckman. 1.1 ground ball gets. Again, not very strong on the ground, but there's a way to beat him. Hitouts to advantage, 32.8. So he's got a little bit more about him. And 55.8 hitouts won. Now, both of these play very similarly, but there is methods to beat them. So let's go and take a look of what we can do. Right, so we're going to show you what Nank does. So genuinely, right, what Nank does, and it's very interesting, it is one of these most interesting things, is he looks to punch it forward, get it behind Carlton. Now, this is interesting because last week you saw Essendon exploit this tactic a lot, right? So when this happens, right, what I think will happen is they'll play Setterfield on the ball and Walsh on the wing. And I've got a feeling that this guy here, if it happens too much, will actually become Nunes in the rotation. And Carlton genuinely rolled off the ball and they peeled in this movement in a pincer type thing. And what they're aiming to do here, right, Richmond, and why they do this, is their half forwards will work overtime to get here, and it really becomes a contested little handball out to Bolton. You'll see Bolton break through, rah, and it all looks really good. But if Cowan can really pincer in this, they'll get the numbers, and then they found really good ways of just handballing this out. Now, I think that will happen quite a bit, right, when Carlton when Nank has got the ball. I think that Nunes and Setterfield will definitely play. Walsh will come in and then he'll make this motion here, rolling behind and acting as this area here, because Hewitt genuinely likes to go backwards. They'll get it to Walsh, they'll get it to Doc, and they'll go out that way. But Nank genuinely, about 60% of the time, will hit it out here. He'll hit it forward, and these guys basically go in a foot race. So it's really important that you've got bodies here to block these runs. So Setterfield will have a really important job here blocking that. Cripper and Graham should be good. And I like the Nunes and Bolton matchup because Nunes is very strong. People forget that about him. And he is the second behind Bolton in handball chains and from scores. So this would be a great little matchup here, right? Now, how this changes when this is Solder, right? Let's just change that. Is I think they'll go a little bit of a different way. So I think Bolton will go here. And they'll bring someone who's very familiar with Carlton, Lambert, right? And I would say then this is where Carlton change it a little bit, right? And they change it up and have a little bit more fun, right? So we'll go here and we'll change it to Fisher. So this would be my rotation for this one, right? So you've got the same type of guys around, right? Walsh goes to Prestia, TDK Solder. Now this guy here, genuinely, he brings it backwards, right? Now, this is perfect for Carlton, right? Because then we just play our way. This is how Carlton like to play. And Hewitt here and Cripps genuinely act as like a backstop for them. But Fisher here will be the key because he can directly attack, and O'Brien will go straight from here, trying to spread and create this opening. But genuinely you find when the ball drops behind the contest, whoever is here playing on the outside of the square will make this direct run. And that is why I think Carlton will play Setterfield for this game over Hayes and Dow, because it allows them to really ostentate this. The other way, and why I put Bolton here, is again, he is another guy that punches forward, but genuinely he doesn't get as much distance on it, and it's a weird way, the way Solder operates as a ruck. He's not quite as accomplished, and he doesn't quite stand his ground, so genuinely he's handballing these with a lot more. There's a more height on it, more trajectory. So I could see Bolton then running in from here. And then again, that's a good thing for Carlton because if Doc follows him, he adds in here. But this is where Sard, quite often you see, from this area, will run up and join in these situations. So that's it then. There's obviously many ways to skin a cat, and they're just two examples of things Carlton have done recently. But obviously until game day, we won't know. But there are what my thoughts are. Let me know in the comments what you thought and if you enjoyed this. And until next time, have a great week. Pom out.